Ever since I started taking my firearms training more seriously, more importantly my pistol, I've shot almost exactly 2,950 rounds of 9mm since April 2024. Despite my extremely low round count, I consistently beat people that shoot that amount of rounds in a month or less. Do you want to know how? Stick around to find out. Everyone, my name is Dennis. I'm a French USPSA IPSC beginner shooter. Today, we're going to be discussing, as you might have guessed it, dry fire. Now, you might be wondering, why out of all the dry fire videos that exist on this platform, should you watch mine?
Why?
And the reason is simple. I'm making it because I haven't seen what I have learned in any other video on this platform, and I thought my experience could help someone. If you find this content useful, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below your worst dry fire mistake. Have you ever put a round through your wall? I'm mostly gonna go over the framework of what you need to do to have an effective and productive dry fire session. I will also be going over the whole bunch of gadgets, the dry fire gadgets that exist in the market, and give you my honest opinion on if it is worth it or not. And lastly, I'll also be going over the gear, the gadgets, and everything I use for my dry fire sessions. And I'm keeping it honest because I'm not being paid by any company, by any manufacturer, so I can say whatever I want to say. And I do this content to educate people in being better firearm owners. I have autistically gone down the dry fire rabbit hole, and I've learned many things that I'm very excited to share. So without further ado, let's get to it. People treat dry fire as if there's some kind of secret behind it. And well, the truth is that there's none. Dry fire is boring and repetitive. I'm someone that gets very easily bored. So I've made this framework so that you can keep practicing just like I do. I practice every day that I can, and that's at least 6 times a week. I do about 30 to 45 minutes, and I keep it consistent. Consistency is the most important thing when you are dry firing. You need to do it over and over and over again. It's better to train 10 minutes a day for 6 days than just do 1 hour on the weekends. That consistency will help you build your fundamentals, which are going to make you 100% a better shooter. I like to split my dry fire sessions into 2 main blocks. The first one is your fundamentals, it's the boring part, and the second one is the games and the fun. The fun is what keeps me on going every day over and over and over without getting bored. In this first part, we're going to divide it into 5-minute blocks. You are going to choose what fundamental you want to train that day. The fundamentals can be the draw, your reload, your weak hand draw, your strong hand draw, your transitions, many things. So if you go to a match and you figure out that you are over transitioning, then you work on your transitions. If you see that your first shot is very slow, focus on your draw. And each little fundamental, you're gonna practice it for 5 minutes. So you grab your phone, put a timer on, put your target, and just do that for 5 minutes. Now, even if it doesn't seem like a lot of time, once you're 3-4 minutes in just doing the same thing, drawing, it's gonna be boring.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
But having that 5-minute time frame means that you know you have a small goal, and then you're gonna change. You can do as many or as little blocks as you want. So if you have, let's say, 30 minutes, then do 6 small blocks. But if you don't have a lot of time and you need to rush out for whatever reason, then you can do 1 or maybe 2 blocks. The second part is the fun. I turn on the TV and I select a variety of videos that I have saved in a playlist, which I will link down below, where you can just have fun and enjoy. These are videos of stages or poppers or real life scenarios where you have to draw your gun and point at different objectives on the TV. It keeps it fun, it keeps it dynamic, and it makes you work all your fundamentals at the same time. So if you're doing an IPSC video, then it's gonna tell you that you have to reload at least once, or that it's weak hand only or strong hand only, etc, etc. I found many resources like that, such as Dry Fire King or other small channels that don't get the recognition they deserve. So I wanna make this to give broader access to people and help them train. Now we've gone over the 2 parts, block of fundamentals and block of fun. I also like to alternate each day with a movement day and a static day. So on the movement days, I'm gonna set up some targets around my house and I'm gonna run around with a gun, which you look crazy, but it's worth it. Just make sure the wife is not on the garage while you're just flagging everything. And on the second day, you just work on your fundamentals. You're not moving and you're just focusing on things you do when you're not moving. There are some qualifiers in USPSA, I've shot one before, where you're not moving. So practicing static is very important, but then when you're running and gunning, then you obviously need to practice movement. So I like to alternate 1 day movement, 1 day static. One day I'm gonna do 3 blocks, let's say, of draws. So I'm gonna draw 5 minutes with both of my hands, 5 minutes with my weak hand, and 5 minutes with my strong hand. The next day I'm gonna focus on transitions. So I'm gonna do close transitions and far transitions for 2 blocks of 5 minutes, depending on what time I have. And that's how I keep it from being boring and repetitive. You wanna do it at your own pace with the things that matter to you. So you need to know what you need to work on, go to matches, go shoot, incorporate all that knowledge into dry fire, and then put it to work. I recently saw an Instagram post by Firepower United saying that you don't need anything for dry fire. And that is mostly true. The only thing you need is literally your gun and your gun.
That's it.
The market is saturated with different dry fire accessories. Which ones are gimmicks, which ones are not. That's very difficult because all those influencers are paid by those brands to shill for the product. So you don't know if what you're getting is actually a good product. The first type of dry fire gadgets is, I think, the most common, which are laser pointers. I've personally bought the Mantis Blackbeard X for the AR-15, which has helped me a lot to improve the trigger control. However, the laser part is not what I bought that for. What happens is that you're often dry firing and you're focusing on where your laser is going and not focusing on your fundamentals. So training with a laser is not really the best thing in my opinion. There's also, with the Blackbeard X, the gyro, which is gonna track all your movements and how long it took you to put the gun up or down and transition. To me, personally, that's too much information. There's many ways of knowing if you over transitioned, and that's by actually focusing on what you're doing. Laser pointers also tend to have a lot of targets that you need to buy or print. For example, the Mantis dry fire targets that you put on the wall, and then you need to connect your phone, and then the laser is gonna track, but it doesn't really track. Then there's also small targets that you put around the house that you're gonna fire at, and it kind of makes a mess. And the mental load is quite high. So you're not really focusing on dry firing, you're focusing on setting this here and that over there, and the phone is working. And at the end of the day, it's 15 minutes that you could have just done 3 blocks of fundamentals. As you might know, I'm based in France, and France, as per my previous video, has quite a long time before you can get a firearm. Before having my Glock 45, I bought this Airsoft Glock 17. Now, Airsoft is an amazing tool to train. If you've seen that video of Lucas Botkin when he invited that airsofter from Japan, the skills actually translate 1-to-1. Obviously not the recoil part, but the rest, which are the fundamentals which you should be training, are translated. This is a green gas gun, which means that it's gonna have blowback. And even if it's not the same amount of recoil as a 9mm, there is trigger reset. If you grab a small piece of tape or paper and jam it between the barrel and the slide, you can have a mushy trigger that is not going to feel exactly like your real firearm when it live fires, but it's a very cool guide to have some feedback when you're dry firing. If you live in a country where you cannot really easily get access to firearms, then airsoft is an amazing substitution. The only downsides are that if you put a BB into the drywall, the wife is not going to be happy, and the recoil is not exactly the same. It can also get very expensive. I paid around 470 euros, so that's real gun money, for the airsoft replica, but I put it through its paces and it served me very, very well. But overall, airsoft is a great training tool. So even though airsoft is not for everyone, I think it can be a cool option in certain cases. Now, talking about recoil in guns and trying to do it as close as possible, such as the green gas in the BB gun, My opinion is that you will never get the exact same thing. If you want to have real recoil, then you need to shoot real ammo. Gadgets such as the Cool Fire, which is something that you change your barrel out and put a CO2 piston that's basically gonna cycle your gun, is not really the best thing because it has been seen to have a different recoil pattern, which actually goes down, which that's not what guns do.
I think it would, over time, create training scars for me.
When you're dry fire, you want to train things that you train on dry fire. And when you live fire, you want to train things that you train on live fire. So I think it's important to separate both. There's also these. And honestly, I don't even know where to start with these. I haven't tried them. I don't think I don't know. If you have any opinions on those, comment them down below. Now, there's a lot of people that have told me many good things about Ace VR. Today, I currently don't have any opinion on it, but I am looking into getting an Ace VR system because apparently it's the best dry fire that you can do, if you do it properly. That's a rabbit hole that I'm slowly getting into, but I'm really considering an Ace. As I mentioned before, you can put targets on your TV, or you can buy very fancy and expensive targets. I've done something easier. Go online, search a 1/3 scale USPSA target, print the page, paste it on a piece of cardboard and cut it out. And for the small punctures here, use a fork. You can just stick them on walls with painter tape and do whatever you want and put them wherever you want. Now, something I really recommend for dry fire is this weighted magazine by Double Alpha. These are spring loaded, which means that they're gonna fall off the Glock as a normal Glock magazine would. And there is some weight to them so that when you're transitioning from target to target, you have the correct feel of the gun. Regarding timers, do you actually need one? Well, the answer is, it depends. If you're gonna go live fire and actually shoot a lot and want a lot of information that can be useful, I bought the Shooters Global. This is a great timer that actually works with dry fire too, even though I don't really use it because sometimes it can detect the sound when you're unholstering instead of just the click of your gun. So use that as you want. This timer is super cool because you can also use it with airsoft. The magnetic mount is amazing because you can just snap it on your belt and take it out whenever you need to. But again, you don't need to spend $300 on a timer. You can just download the T-Rex Range Day app and there's a timer over there. Or if you really don't want to do any of that, go online and put a par timer on whatever app. I like to use YouTube and just use that. If you really don't want to use a timer, which I think you should for dry fire just to measure, you can go to this video, which is random beeping, and draw every time or reload every time that it beeps. Use those for your 5-minute blocks that I talked about previously. Now, regarding the belt and the setup, what do you actually need? Well, actually, that's something that depends on you. How do you want to train for dry fire? If you're a police officer, then I would recommend that you train with your duty belt and your level 3 holster. If you're a competition shooter, then use your competition belt. And if you want to dry fire with your concealed carry gun, then put your appendix or your 3 o'clock holster. Train with the belt that you are actually going to use. In my case, since I didn't have access to the Glock 45, I bought this cheap $30 belt with this cheap mag holder and the cheap holster to use on my Glock 17. And now that I have my Glock 45, this is still used. I'm looking at upgrading to a competition belt for obviously my IPSC competition. But as of now, this belt has worked great. It doesn't really matter if you have Gucci gear or not. I mean, we all love Gucci gear, but this has been plenty. So in conclusion, dry fire isn't sexy, but it works. You can just do 5-minute blocks followed by a dry fire king video, and that should be enough for the day. That's more than what a lot of people train. So stick to the fundamentals, stick to the boring, stop looking at what gadget you should buy. Grab your gun and go train.
Get it, 17!
You don't know me, son!
Thanks again, Dennis out.